Hello there, right here we got a brand new snapshot today. This is 22W05A. This snapshot is for the upcoming version of 1.18.2, and it sounds like they're currently working on some larger changes for this upcoming version, but they need some time to work it out. So in the meantime, we get a smaller snapshot, but there's also some sneak peeks of 1.19 we'll talk about. In the last snapshot, they came out with some rearranging of the Badlands biome, as the biome consists of kind of the tall peaks as well as the lowlands with the sand. Now this change was actually causing problems such as this chunk border cutoff part, so they went ahead and removed that change that they put in the last snapshot, but they do say they're going to add it in later. So it seems that version 1.18.2 will be drawn out a little bit longer. We got a lot to go over, so make sure to like and subscribe, and let's get started. Now, Snapchat also had some bug fixes, and I'll get into those after we cover some recent news about 1.19. Mojang posted some pictures of some of the testing they've been doing. Here you can see there is a bunch of creepers falling down, dying right here. And it looks like there's a Sculk catalyst right here in the center. This is a block that switches natural blocks like grass over into the Sculk blocks every time a mob dies near it. Looks like they got a command block here that is constantly summoning the creepers. We do see some new things, which are these particles. It looks like these are kind of illustrating that it's trying to convert nearby blocks into Sculk. We also see there's a whole bunch of Sculk sensors on top of all of these Sculk floor. So it might be that these creepers, when they die, not only do they have a chance of converting over the natural blocks into Sculk blocks, but they also have a chance of placing in a Sculk sensor on top. If we look at the distance, it looks like the Sculk sensors are only in the areas where there's actually the Sculk blocks. But from the testing that I did in the Bedrock edition to do with the Sculk blocks and the Sculk catalyst and it converting, typically it only kind of fills an area near where the mobs die. It wouldn't put it in this big area. So it looks like maybe the Sculk sensors are able to extend the area in which it can spread to. But this could just be a test where they cranked up the area in which it can convert blocks. We also see it's putting the veins over top of all the trees, which really overall changes the entire biome look after this stuff comes through. It kind of like corrupts it. I know they have something similar like in Terraria. And I think it's a cool idea that the ground can be converted into this Sculk stuff. Over here, we also see that it's climbing up in this mountain here. And that might be where this next picture is taken, where it looks like it's spread into this cave here. And once again, we can see the particles where it's trying to convert stuff over. And it's climbing up the sides of the stone, converting the stone to Sculk, as well as adding the veins on it. Pretty crazy look. And if you look down here, it looks like the water is able to occupy the same place as the Sculk veins, where over here, it looks like the stone wasn't able to convert into Sculk blocks with the water over top of it. As you guys know, I already designed a Sculk block farm, Sculk vein farm, as well as Sculk XP farm in this video here, which I'll link down below. So I'm really excited to see what other things they have the Sculk do. Let me know what you guys think is going on in this picture. Now, just before King B Dogs released those images of them working on the Sculk blocks in the Java edition, he released these images of him working with some of the Bedrock edition developers, probably just trying to understand how this whole Sculk blocks works for them before trying implementing it into Java. Now, in this picture, there looks like a spawner here that has like a outline around it. Not that familiar with Bedrock, so let me know what this is exactly. But in these pictures, you can see that in the Bedrock edition, they still don't got the Sculk sensors spawning with the Sculk blocks. So it seems that the Java team can add in a bit more features onto what the Bedrock has already implemented. We also just got a new image from King B Dogs having Elder Guardian spawn and die with the catalyst in the center, and you can kind of see how it is spreading. So they're definitely testing how far out the Sculk stuff should go, and it definitely seems that the Sculk sensors are spawning with the Sculk blocks. Now, we tested in Bedrock Edition, it was pretty much the same shape every time a mob died, but this is clearly showing some really sporadic parts kind of branching out from it. So maybe it's a bit more random, which would make it a little bit more difficult to farm up. But this does mean that the Sculk sensor itself is farmable, which is really cool because a lot of people are wondering how expensive it would be. And since it is such a useful redstone device, it's nice to be able to get it in large amounts and seemingly quite easily. Minecraft also announced that they're coming out with something called Minecraft Preview, which is an evolution on the Bedrock beta program. This is where you could sign up and get the Bedrock version of snapshots, which are called beta, and then you could try those out. The only problem was when you're playing in the beta, you couldn't easily switch back to play normal Minecraft in the Bedrock edition. So with this new Minecraft Preview, it's going to let you just be able to play all in the beta, and then you can always launch the normal Minecraft Bedrock edition to play the current Minecraft version. Now, when I was trying to figure out how to get to the betas, the Bedrock edition, it was really confusing, so this is going to probably really help people be able to try out the new stuff. Now, they do say it's eventually going to come to the launcher, so it's kind of like all in one. You can choose if you want to play snapshots or not, kind of like how we have it in Java, but it's not out yet. But at first, it's going to roll out for iOS as well as Windows. It's eventually going to roll out for all the different platforms, and eventually the Minecraft beta is going to be retired, and this is going to replace it. Now, this change will affect people like myself who like to try out the newest things in Minecraft. As we've been seeing recently, Bedrock Edition has been working on part of the next update, and then Java will work on different parts of the next update, and then they'll kind of switch and implement the other editions stuff into their edition, just like we've seen like like the Skulk blocks are currently being worked on in Bedrock Edition, and then more recently they're going to be worked on for the Java Edition. Mojang also came out with several bug fixes for this snapshot. The first being that water graphics were glitchy when connecting diagonally. This is a really old bug, dated back in 2012. You can see how the water at the very end tries to connect through the corner to another water source, and it kind of tips upwards to do that. Now this doesn't break anything, this is just a visual bug. They also change it so that when structure blocks put in entities, they'll always be rotated as they are saved now. In this example, there's armor stands and they're facing the wrong direction when loaded. Now I use structure blocks quite a bit, and there's two main bugs that I wish they would fix. The first one is that when you load a structure that has water as well as water loggable blocks near each other, and you load it up and move it, you can see that the game doesn't actually remove the water, and instead just waterlogs the blocks. The second one is if there is any passenger, meaning an entity that's riding another entity, they won't get saved, so it'll only save like the boat, it won't save the pig. Now if these two bugs were fixed, it would actually make structure blocks a lot more useful in day-to-day usage. They fixed the dripstone when generating, removing other blocks that were in their way. Here you can see the coal block got removed to place in the dripstone. In mineshafts, the actual wood pillars that would hold up those were generating on top of dripstone points. And mineshafts were also not removing any dripstone points before putting in their platforms. There's a special super flat world called Redstone Ready, where you're supposed to be able to just hop in and do redstone. Problem is that slimes are actually spawning there. This is due to the new lower worlds and the game still putting in sandstone, but not high enough up to remove slimes from spawning. They fixed another bug to do with chest loot tables being deleted when updating to 1.18.1. It had to do with the chests being outdated. Campfires and hoppers that were cooking stuff were constantly causing chunk saving, which is causing constant writing to the disk. This should help if you have auto smelters constantly working. Your Minecraft character would vanish if you're above the world height or below the build limit. When using commands, you could teleport yourself into a different dimension, but if you would do it where you're teleporting yourself below a certain Y level, you could cause the game to freeze until you die. They fixed a bug with foxes where they would sleep inside of powdered snow, and they wouldn't even leave or wake up or run when they started to freeze, so they just end up dying. They also fix it so that there's no longer a problem when the block position is getting square distance calculation. This affected things like the chunk rendering queue loading in the wrong order, loading chunks that I thought were nearby but weren't actually, pathfinding for mobs to get to different positions, bees sometimes choosing the wrong coordinates to go to. It causes raids to be placed in invalid locations, and the raid center to be off-centered. When searching for strongholds, sometimes they would choose a stronghold that was further rather than the one that was the closest. Sometimes a portal location would be placed in the wrong location, and points of interest could be off or put in the wrong order. Overall, this isn't going to change stuff too much, but it's going to make stuff more consistent. The loaded to range screen would sometimes just get stuck on screen if you would happen to rejoin a world while you are below or above the world limit. They fixed this bug from one of my viewers, Lego Show TV, that we noticed during our last testing stream, where if you use the place feature command on our testing server, it would crash you client side. So with this fix, we should be able to now test it on the server. And we test out the newest features every Wednesday with the viewers here on my Snapshot testing server. You can get all the details on my Discord. And big thanks to Bisect Hosting for hosting this server. I have been using their servers for the last 7 years. You can support me and them by using my link in the description or code RAY to get 25% off your next Minecraft server. Now check out this playlist to learn about more Minecraft news, or this one to learn about cool tricks you can do in your own Minecraft world. If you're able to go the extra mile and support me, I do offer a bunch of different rewards on my Patreon, including access to my supporter server, where we're going to be doing a new type of Minecraft challenge. I'll have that linked in the description. Now I'll see all you guys over at my Twitch stream. Bye bye!